Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, that moment you've been waiting for has arrived. Because I'm late. I was running late. Had to eat, do some stuff. But we're here. Is there am I hearing a damn echo in the shop? I think I'm hearing an echo in the shop. So we're here. It's me, you're the old humble guy, back with another day in the life. Sorry I'm late, Bourbon Ron and Muscle Shell. But cheers to chat. Welcome to the party. Glad to see you guys have joined me. Okay, I'm full on live. So what are we doing today? That's a good question. Let me switch to the good camera. What are we doing today? We are... Get out of studio mode, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. What are we doing today? Well, let me tell you. Get my handy dandy microphone. I actually don't need that because it's here. I need to move the fan out of the way though. Give me a second. We're getting situated. So I've got about 7 or 8 cases of special reserve that we need to bottle up. This stuff. Can you see the? You don't see the box. We've got that stuff that we filtered, proofed and filtered yesterday that needs to go into bottles. So that's the plan for today. I need to get my corks, clear off a little landing pad over here. This is very much what our day-to-day operation kind of looks like until I'm gonna have to move you guys over here just a skosh so that I can go in between the camera and the world. And then I have to move it back just a skosh, I think. I think that'll probably do the trick right there. So you can see the table, you can see you can see everything. This will be great. And we'll move you up a little bit because you don't need to be focused on my crotch quite so much. And I don't know what y'all are into, but okay, so no echo. Audio looks good, audio sounds good. Video looks as good as the video can look when it is focused on an old fat guy like me. Deal with it. So now I'm going to move the bottles to the loading zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ow. 6. I don't think I've got more than 7 cases to do, so I'm going to stage up 7 cases and be ready to go with it. All right. So y'all seen the process before. The bottles go here, here to the bottler to the table. I stack them up, I cork them and stack them, then we seal them, heat seal them, and then put the labels on and get going from there. I need head cover, otherwise I will drip because I'm a sweaty old man. So last night was a great night. We gave away whiskey. It's always a good night when we give away whiskey. Had a lot of visitors to the stream, which was fabulous. Had a lot of regulars on the stream, which was fabulous. All right. And Shark Home Brewing took home the prize, the whiskey flight, the sample whiskey flight. By the way, you see on the scroll across the bottom of the screen, if you would like to contribute to the Lapel Mic Fund, that's my Cash App. I think my Venmo is there too. Cash App. Either way. Sorry. Yeah, you're still good. That's my Cash App at the bottom of the screen. It's only like a $50 lapel mic. It's not a priority as far as operations at the distillery goes. So it is not on my personal list of shit to get. But if y'all would like to contribute to the production quality of the show and throw in $5 here, $5 there. If we come within $10, I'll throw in the last $10. I will match the last $10. If y'all get me close, I'll go the rest of the way and finish it up. But there we go. Beautiful. All right, so now, see, this is how late I was running. I didn't even have time to like preemptively line all this stuff up and get it ready to go. I was just like, screw it, I gotta get in there. So I did. I got in there. So two things I'm doing with these bottles. Because we had the little industrial accident where the bottles... Ooh, that must have sucked to hear that. Hope y'all aren't listening on headphones. Sorry about that. What am I looking at getting for a lapel mic? It was just some lapel mic on Amazon. Let me look it up. I'll post it in the comments. Let's see if I can find it. Amazon. Let's see if I can find the lapel mic that I had. It's just a cheap little lapel mic. It's not anything like it's just a cheap little lapel mic. It's not anything like brand or anything. It's, you know, just a $50 lapel mic. Let me find it. Pretty sure I have it in my studio kit list. Scrolling. Where are you at? A whole bunch of cameras that I had my eye on. Steam whistle. Did I seriously not like... Oh, there it is. Here it is. Hotech UHF wireless headset microphone. There it is. Just a $40 mic. Nothing huge, nothing shocking, nothing extravagant. That's the one. It is just a basic, simple wireless headset microphone, lavalier lapel mic with a body pack, transmitter, and mini rechargeable receiver. 1/4 inch output for vlogging. That would go into. That would plug into. I'd have to have a reducer to plug it into my my little box over here. But I could make adjustments for it. And, you know, it would also work to plug into a better setup. And if I could find, you know, there's a better one, bundle savings. That's what I have mine on. It's like I said, it's not a high priority acquisition. It's not a high priority purchase for the distillery. I've got other things that come in front of it, like finishing the installation of my steam generator and stuff like that. You know, paying my mortgage, paying my rent, things that are important. All right, so all right, we got to get this thing rolling. I got to get some whiskey in these bottles. So first things first, I got to get the air bubble out of the system. Then we fill our first bottle. And it is clear enough. Yeah, we don't have too many bubbles in there. We don't have too much, none of the bad stuff that I don't want. And it actually looks like it's running fairly level, which is really cool. They're running just a little bit high, but they're all running about the same level. So I overfilled these bottles on this first run because I was doing it by hand. But that's okay. because I can take what little bit is in there above the level that I want and put it into my sample tester. As my opening shot for the night, or for the afternoon. Yeah, beautiful. Cheers. Best part of the job. Fabulous. Okay. I need my corks. So as you can see, getting started usually takes a minute because I get everything set up and prepped up and ready to go. But once I have everything set, we get rolling and things roll pretty steady. It tastes kind of like they used a higher corn content than usual in this batch of whiskey. It tastes a little bit like a dad joke. A little corny. See what I did there? Shark Home Brewing's in the house. Our winner from last night. Cheers, Shark. Your box will be in the mail this weekend, Monday at the latest. Congratulations on the odds being in your favor last night. I assume y'all can hear me fine with my head turned this way. I assume. But if necessary, I can move the microphone over here. I think if I move the microphone over here and have it pointed away from, I think you should be able to hear me just fine if it's pointed away from the filling machine. As long as it's not pointed at the filling machine, because the filling machine's kind of loud. And then, but I'm not in any particular rush today. I don't have anything going on this weekend, except for our trivia night on the channel. I don't have any place to be. It's just my wife and kids at home watching Malcolm in the Middle right now. So it's not like I'm rushing from here to some meeting. Now tomorrow we're going to be bottling up the gin, and I'll have visitors in the distillery, and we're going to be, we have an event tomorrow night, our live music, so I am going to be in a bit of a rush tomorrow, but we're also going to have a crew of people here bottling up the gin, so it's going to be a little bit, we have 27 cases of gin to bottle up, so it's just another day in the process of building a business and building doing some work, getting some stuff done, advancing the ball, lining things up to get another at bat, And that's what it's all about. One more month, one more at bat. It's always about just pushing the ball just a little bit further along. I see chats stacking up there. Let me, come on. Shit. Drop the box. All right. What do we have? Mussel shells in the house. Sharks in the house. Everything spicy. Yes, everything spicy. Usually it is a one-man operation. Usually. Most of the time that I'm here working, it's me. When I have my events on Friday nights, Lisa will join me. She usually comes in to work the bar, take the tips, help to entertain and be a good hostess, which works out really good because that allows me to focus on being a good host. You know, I can do my tours, I can manage the stream, I can be a good host for the distillery and try to make sure the guests are having a good time. I don't have to worry about the operations. Because if there's people at the bar who need drinks, and the musician needs drinks, or electricity, or whatever, I wouldn't be able to do the stream, and guests, and bar, and music all at the same time. I could probably do trivia live, solo. Y'all can't hear me when I turn my bed, sorry. I could probably do trivia live, solo. But doing music live solo is a challenge, a real challenge. There's just so many moving parts. I could probably do just the music and the bar, but I couldn't do the music and the stream and the bar at the same time. But all this right now I can manage this volume as a solo operation, and then go out and do my tastings at night. But doing this, managing a tasting room, and then going out and doing tastings, that's one task too many. I basically got to choose two. Ah, crap. I basically have to choose two. I can't do, three things at once is a bit of a challenge. And yeah, it is low overhead as far as, paying people, but it costs a lot in time, energy, but that's how it is when you're starting up a business. And we're still very much in startup mode. I mean, we've been around as long as we have been. We're going since, 10 years now. But we were a part-time operation for most of that time, until 2019. So 2019, we were a full-on part-time operation. And then we had, 2 years worth of pandemic work that had that, or 18 months of pandemic work that we had to work our way through. And the pandemic really set it back. It wasn't just a pause. The pandemic wasn't a pause by any stretch of the imagination. It was a backsliding. So instead of just, opening the doors and still being in 2019, waiting, we were probably pushed back 18 months, in addition to losing that 18 months worth of time. So we're still very much in startup mode, just trying to build market, build market presence, build awareness, build shelf space, doing all that stuff. And just from a business point of view, a strategic point of view, I worry that the pandemic setback chewed up so much capital that, that window of operation, that window of being able to use the momentum that we had may have closed. But I also kind of think that you make your own momentum. You don't have to just rely on the natural winds of the market. You could go out there and swing for the fences every damn day, and eventually you're going to connect. That's kind of what we're still working on. Getting exposure, getting media exposure, doing all the stuff. If it hadn't been for the pandemic, by now we would definitely be. If it hadn't been for the pandemic, by now we would definitely be out of startup. because we'd have been, we had momentum going into March 2020. We had depleted all the product off the shelf. I was waiting for a resupply. We got a resupply order to resupply the shelves that we filled in early April, I think. But by March 15th, we weren't allowed to do tastings in the stores. So we had this momentum in January and February where I sold out, like literally sold out most of the stores that we had product in. And I had a bunch of tastings scheduled for the second half of March to coincide with just the handful more stores that we still had product in. They had an order placed for the end of March that was going to go into stores in April. We made that delivery when we came back, but we were locked out of stores, so I couldn't go into stores in April. When that delivery hit the stores in April, I couldn't go into the stores to pull the product off the shelves and get it into people's hands. So we lost that 6-month window, and all of that momentum that we had built up. We had product sitting in the stores for like 6 months, and then it was like literally rebuilding from that point because we lost that 6 months worth of revenue. And all that momentum, it really did. It set us back 18 months. It set us back on our build out. It set us back on getting into the property, this property. It set us back profoundly. So I mean, we really did lose damn near 2 years, 3 years of our existence. And it's frustrating as hell because I'm out here as a small business. I just want to open my fucking doors. I just want to open my doors and operate. Meanwhile, we're here in Texas. We got a whole bunch of jackoffs running around, acting like nothing's happening. They're thumping their chest and screaming about how they support small business. But they go to Walmart and they go to Target and they won't wear their fucking masks. And it just extended this whole thing out for a whole another year. It's like, but that's par for the course. They say one thing and they do another, and it's just frustrating because we're out here just like we want this thing to be over, and they just want to act like it doesn't exist. And those aren't the same thing. It's not the same thing because even if we close our eyes and act like it doesn't exist, it still exists. Me, a sole operator, I get sick, I'm out of business for 3 weeks because you're down for a solid week and a half being sick. You can't have anybody here for a week being sick. You can't go into stores for a week being sick. I mean, it takes the wind completely out of your sails. You can't bring it home to your family. You can't. It's a big fucking challenge. It was a real challenge for 2 solid years, and it took all the capital to keep the doors open, and I couldn't afford to build out because all of the operations were down. Like we're trying to get. Talk about trying to get new people to come out to a new place. That they've never heard of in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, just logistically, it was hard to do. It would have been hard to pull off. And we are transparent as fuck, Muscle Shell, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I chose this life. I chose this business. I chose this life. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it's all, I'm not, it's not woe is me by any stretch of the imagination. I would much rather be doing this than working at the bank that I was at before. I would much rather be doing this than managing a grocery store or accounting department or whatever. I want to be doing this. But that doesn't mean it's easy. The fact that I love it, and I love seeing my creation coming to fruition. I love seeing my labels on the bottles and seeing the bottles in the stores and getting the awards from the New York International Spirits Competition like we got this week. I haven't made a big tweet about it because I'm waiting on the hardware to show up in the mail. But we got 2 silvers and a bronze at the very prestigious New York International Spirits Competition. Looking through the winners, there's only 2 Texas whiskeys that scored ahead of us in the gold medal. And that was Garrison Brothers and Balcones. So we were in rare company up in New York. And it was a good time. But yeah, I mean, I love every part. I love the hard work. I like the stress. I don't love the stress. I like the stress. I like the tension. I've never been depressed more than working and building my own business. But I've also never been happy. You know, there's the like legit concerns when you're in startup mode about how to cover rent. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to make rent happen? How are we going to pay the fucking bill? How am I going to, you know, pay for the equipment? How are we going to get this stuff done? Where am I going to come up with capital? There's always that stuff. Like, how am I going to buy bottles? Where am I going to get the bottles? Where am I going to get the bottles? It's a never-ending parade of challenges and problems. And one of these days, I know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to realize that I haven't had these issues in months. Like, I haven't had a supply chain issue in months. We have plenty of bottles. I haven't had to worry about it. We've had plenty of bottles, plenty of whiskey. We've been selling bourbon like crazy. I just haven't had to worry about this shit. I look forward to that day. That day's going to come. Thank you, Muscle Chef. But I know those days are going to come where I don't have to, like, just constantly worry. You know, where we have sales orders 2, 3, 4 months in advance. We have inventory to cover the next 3, 4 orders in advance. We've got supplies to cover producing the next orders. Like, this order of Special Reserve is mostly already spoken for, which is great. The order is pending still, but it'll be going out the door probably this month, June, along with the rest of the double oak rye that we've got. We don't have product. We don't have pre-orders yet for the straight whiskey, but I should have enough resources to get more straight whiskey ahead of the orders that we're going to get at the end of summer for the straight whiskey. So it's just like, you know, things are coming together. We're not hemorrhaging money like we were last year and the year before. We're just, you know, bleeding. A little trickle going out. Which is also what you expect in startup mode. We should be coming out of startup mode this year where we're no longer bleeding resources, but we should be break even this year, which is exciting. If I hit my sales targets over the summer, we should be break even. And that's actually the next stop from here as I swing by. I'm going to swing by one of the big box stores to get inventory numbers and see where we stand for my June and July sales tours through Spec and Total Wine. I haven't gotten any confirmation back from Total Wine yet on our sales tours through town, which is super aggravating. Aha! There it is. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th bottle, or the 6th case. I didn't think I had more than 7, but we're going to get about, we're going to be able to get about probably 6 or 8 more bottles out of this. Alright, we got some bubbly stuff. That's okay. Launch you under the table there. You in? There you go. You're in. Don't go anywhere, bubble. You're in. Good. Stay. Alright, I also need to be a little bit cautious coming down to the bottom of the barrel here, because we could be getting some particulate matter if anything got through the filters, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Should be able to fill these 4. I might be able to get 2 more bottles after this. No, I may only be able to fill these 4. So we'll see. I didn't get any video of these bottles being filled up. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to get video of these bottles being filled up. This is one of my favorite videos to get. Bottle filling videos. Oh, come on now. Don't do that to me. There you go. All right. Coming to a YouTube short near you. Should I do it in slow motion? The regular video. I can always slow the video down. There we go. All right. Yeah. A nice little YouTube short for that one. Maybe coming to a TikTok near you. That knocked my barrel back down. We might have, I don't even have a whole bottle left in there. I don't even think I have 1 bottle. Alright, so we got these 4. The thing is, I gotta tee up 4 more to get the last little drops out of there, and I would be surprised, quite honestly, if out of the little bit that I have left in there, I get a whole bottle. Not getting hardly anything left. I'm gonna take that out. And one more thing. There we go. That's it. Probably not even an entire bottle left at the bottom of that barrel. Don't try this at home. I am a professional at merging bottles. This, oh, we do have one whole bottle. Maybe one whole bottle. But this will likely be the distiller's bottle. Now I'll fill it up. This will go to the bar. And then whatever's left will go to whatever's left will go to the to my personal bar. And in fact, my guess is that all 9 of these bottles will go to the bar. And this one will come home with me. Excellent. Perfect. So those 3 stay there. At the end of the day today, I'll clean all this stuff out because tomorrow we're filling gin, and I don't want to have whiskey flavors mixing with my gin flavors. Shark. Did I take a video of me pissing? No. Yeah, I mean, I've got a handful of samples left, and I can crack these guys into sample bottles. We don't sell the sample bottles; we give them away. But they're all. You'll see when you get the bottles, they're all very handmade. The labels are handmade. I printed them out on my printer at home. I printed them out, cut them out by hand. Did all the things. Very artisan, very craft. But I do think that sometime in the very near future, we'll get some small labels, not approved by the state, but small labels that can just be printed out so that we can do some marketing stuff with some local groups doing something along the lines of commemorative bottles or event samples or things like that we can hand out for free at events. I don't know if y'all can still hear me, I'm way over here. But you know, like sponsorship goodies, things like that. Things that can go in gift bags for VIPs and stuff like that. So that's a possibility. Yes, like Specs and Total Wine, Bourbon Round. I don't have a schedule yet for Total Wine, but it'd basically be every single one of the Houston stores. If they approve the schedule, I'll be at all of the Houston stores over the course of June and partway into July. If they approve the schedule. If they don't approve the schedule, then it'll be later in the summer. I don't know. But that's what's so frustrating about Total Wine. I have no information from them, and it's been like 10 days. Versus Specs, where it's usually like a 3 or 4 day turnaround to get the stuff scheduled, to get everything set up, ready to go. Specs is just, I don't know, for me at least, Specs is easier to schedule stuff. Or at least it seems to have been. It seems to be easier to schedule stuff. If we end up in Total Wines doing tastings, I'll probably schedule out Specs to third-party tasters, which I don't like to do, because those guys usually aren't as good. Those guys usually aren't as good as far as closing sales as I tend to be, but then again, I'm the distiller. I'm the guy who makes the whiskey, so I have a little bit different energy and a little bit different methodology going into doing the tastings and the events. Sample sets can sell. A sample set would sell, but it would be, I would basically be diverting product from my main operation, and I don't have a whole lot of inventory sitting around that I'm not selling already. Am I off the? Yeah, I'm not off. I'm over here. Y'all can kind of see. If I move over here to the other side of the table, y'all can still see me, probably. Audio might suck because I don't have a lapel mic. There we go. A sample kit would probably sell, but like I said, I'd be diverting resources away from my mainline. I'm not at the point yet where I can afford to not sell full-size bottles of whiskey in favor of small-size bottles. I'm not there yet. I'll be there soon. Next year, maybe we'll launch a box set of samples with all of our whiskeys, our bourbon, straight whiskey, special reserve, all of it. So a set 4 sample bottles, which would be 200 milliliters, a little bit less than a third of a full bottle, so maybe add a 5th one in there, so it'd be 250 milliliters and be a full third of a bottle. I don't know. I haven't given it much thought, not yet, because we're just not there yet. But eventually it'll pop up on the radar of another product that we can do, another SKU that we can get on the shelves to grow the space a little bit more. All right. And now for the next bit, we'll do the seals. I went off on a I was doing a tour talking about setting the seals on the bottles, and I went off on a complete ad-lib tangent about how the seals were trainable, and it was fun to have them in here when we're setting up the seals, and the seals could sometimes be a little messy, and you just toss them fish and all this stuff. And the people on the tour, they were just like nodding and getting in, and like, yeah, it must be fun having the seals and doing. Did they do this? They were like fully into it, to the point that I felt compelled after a couple of minutes of doing this. I felt compelled to tell them that I was just messing with them and it wasn't actually seals. We have a couple more friends join the channel. That's awesome. We're at 572 subscribers. By the way, I have contacted my legal fireworks distributor who has access to 40-shot canister cakes. 30-shot canister kegs, 30, 40-shot canister kegs. So for our 600 subscriber special, and hopefully our July 4th extravaganza, we'll be able to launch off 600 rockets from artillery kegs out here in the woods, distillery. So tell your friends. If you want to see me launch off 600 rockets into the woods, or in the woods out here, you want to see that shit? Because I want to see that shit. You want that shit here on the channel? We'll probably do it live, and then I'll also probably record it and release it as a recorded video. We'll do it live on Twitch, and then edit it into a video on the YouTubes. Like, record it live, do the live show on Twitch, and then release it as the July 4th extravaganza. July 4th, by the way, bar none, one of my favorite civic holidays. Like, easily, I love July 4th. I don't like going outside and launching off fireworks on July 4th. I prefer to do that on New Year's. I'd much rather go out on July 4th and watch a fireworks display. But man, I get all into it. We read the Constitution. We read the Declaration of Independence, or at least the preamble to the Declaration of Independence. We don't read the whole thing, because most of it's kind of boring. But we read the preamble to the Declaration of Independence. When in the course of events it becomes necessary, it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, wonderful day. Because it really is the founding document that lays out our ideals as a country. I love July 4th. It's a fantastic day. We go out, we cook in the backyard, we drink beer and whiskey, we read the Constitution, sorry, not the Constitution, we read the Declaration of Independence. It's just a great day and a great way to remember who we are as a people. So, you know, for this July 4th extravaganza, being able to record launching 600 rockets into the air and exploding the sky, oh, that would be awesome. That would be a ton of fun. Free Ukraine. Yes, free Ukraine. Support them. They, see, that's just the thing. It'll be far enough away from the distillery that it won't blow up the distillery, probably. There's safety. We will have safety protocols in place. I will have fire extinguishers on hand. It's going to be a whole fucking event. It's going to be awesome. And maybe we won't do it here after all. Maybe we'll do it in a emptier field. I don't know, but this is pretty remote. It's not like there's a whole lot of risk out here. The building itself is in the middle of a gravel parking lot. The building itself is a metal building. There's nothing flammable on the roof of this building. So I'm not particularly worried about the building catching fire. There would have to be several unfortunate events that go along with the firework display to actually have the building catch fire. And it's not a large enough firework display that would require a fire marshal to be on hand and, green light the whole event. Great Scott's in the house. What's up? Cheers, Scott. Glad you could make it. That is a new name. I haven't seen that name before, I don't think. But what we are doing right now, you missed the bottling portion of the event, of the stream. What I'm doing now is sealing the whiskey. Using my heat gun and my shrink seals, I am sealing the whiskey so that you can be sure what leaves the distillery is what we put in the bottle, and what you're buying in the store hasn't changed in transit. The next step is going to be the actual labeling. But what I'm talking about right now is our July 4th extravaganza and 600 subscriber special. Actually, next week I'm going to have my 100,000 views, my quest for 100,000 views update. I'm going to record that over the weekend. Record it, edit it, and post it up on Monday probably. Spoiler alert, May was a fantastic month. We got something like 20,000 views in May. Between 16 and 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. More hours than we've had in a single month since March 2020 when we started broadcasting on a regular basis. More hours viewed, more... It's not the largest single month of subscribers that we've ever had, but we had the largest single month in subscribers that we've had in like 6 months. We went from 450 something to 470 something, no, 440 something to 470 something. All in all, May was a really great month. And our bands that we had on Fridays, our performers got over 300 views all by themselves, which is kind of the whole point of the project, of the 100,000 views project, is to make sure that our performers would be seen. People would actually see them and get watch hours on their... The Friday Night Live performances were 3 of the top 5 live shows that we did in May, with trivia being one of the others being trivia and one of the others being one of my Wednesday Night Live. I don't remember if it was the What is a Militia episode or if it was the What Are Our Rights episode, but one of those two was the top 5. I appreciate that, Scott. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate that. Get more folks in here. What program am I using to live stream since I'm not at 1,000 yet? I live stream with OBS. I used to live stream using StreamYard, but I'm having issues with my I was having issues with Chrome and StreamYard. I think I've got some malware rooting around in my computer, changing my, taking my browser, my web searcher, and changing it from Google to Yahoo. And I've done a little bit of digging around, and there's some kind of malware that does that. But I haven't been able to find it using my antivirus software and my malware software. I haven't been able to find it and get it out of my computer yet. So I know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I know something's going on. But anyway, that prevented me from continuing to use StreamYard. But OBS was the one I started with, and I used StreamYard so that I could cut out the middleman of Zoom when it came to adding people on the show, like Lisa or our science advisor or anybody else. But you know, using OBS and Zoom works out fine enough, especially considering all the headache that I was getting using StreamYard and all the problems that I was having with Chrome interfacing with StreamYard. It just wasn't working. So I switched back to OBS. And just used Zoom through OBS. There's other integration softwares that can be used, but they all go through the through the browser, and the problem seems to be my browser on my computer. There's just something going on with the browser, and I've tried removing it and reloading it 1,000 times. There's something else going on, but there's some kind of malicious extension in my browser. It might be coming from TubeBuddy for all I know. That just eats up memory and eats up resources. So when I try to stream through the browser, it's not working. So that's why I quit using StreamYard. I wasn't getting good streams using StreamYard, but I was getting great streams using OBS. So I quit using StreamYard. And I still have to root out and find whatever that background function is that's going on, that malicious extension that's going on in my browser. But like I said, I've tried rooting that damn thing out. I've tried using softwares. I've tried clearing out all the cookies. I've tried resetting it. I've tried all the stuff. But when I go into when I open it up and do a search function from the address line, it's supposed to default to Google, and it starts off at Google, and then it changes to Yahoo. And like I said, I know something's going on. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to fix it, and it's driving me absolutely bonkers. And every time I start it up, there's 2 PowerShell applications that open up. So like I know something's going on in the background. I just don't know what it is, and I don't know how to stop it without, damaging my computer in other ways. StreamYard does appear to be the easiest for bringing others in. It is. It's extremely. Hi, Vanessa Kitty. Do I want to hire an intern? I would love to hire an intern, especially interns that work for free. Those are my favorite kinds. People that work for free. I am hoping, God's honest truth, I'm hoping by the end of the year to have enough in the bank and enough operational activity going on to require a second person working for the distillery, even if it's part-time. Someone to coordinate volunteer ambassadors, or someone to coordinate third-party marketing, tasters, either that person and part of that role would be managing the tasting room and events on site, or someone to assist me with the distilling so that I can more effectively manage the other stuff. Like, this is your job. Start and finish the task. Either start or finish the task. Because it's like a 12 to 18 hour operation to run the stills. So it becomes a little bit burdensome to run the stills and then do all the other stuff. But if I can have somebody finish the process, I'll start it up. I'll get all the knobs turned and everything fired up and running. All you got to do is stand here to the end and make sure that it finishes. And that we collect up all the whiskey out of it. And that's probably a harder job than getting it started, to be quite honest. Like, getting it started just means waking up early and making sure everything's running and flowing. At the end of the day, we're trying to squeeze the last drops of whiskey out of the wash. So there's a little bit of art and precision. There's a little bit of science and a little bit of art that goes into the back end of a whiskey run. I am looking forward to streaming our first runs. It's called slavery. It's only slavery if it's not voluntary. It's only slavery if it's not voluntary. If it's voluntary, it's called voluntary.
But I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, I mean just the sheer amount of time, and while it's distilling, you can do other stuff like this. You don't have to be standing there staring at that thing the whole time, but you do kind of have to be here because a lot of stuff can go wrong. Water levels can change, temperature levels can change. There could be a rupture in the coolant line. There could be a leak in the coolant line that's not a full-on rupture, just a leak. I mean, a lot of pains in the ass can happen. You could accidentally bump. You could be minding your own business, walking through the distillery, accidentally bump the table where the collecting vessel is resting, and then next thing you know, you've got a puddle of alcohol on the floor. That's a bad day. A very bad day. You're trying to figure out how much alcohol you lost. But yeah, I'm hoping we can do that by the end of the year. That'll be a good Christmas present for myself, is to have an employee. Of course, having an employee would change the whole dynamic of the operation. Like, I'd have to wear pants all the time. No more open showers. I mean, unless, the employee was into it, they were fine with it, they were cool. They're like, yeah, go ahead, you shower whenever you want. But of course, before I do that, I'm going to have to get a full-time bathroom. I'd like to have the build-out done before we hire anybody. That'd be kind of cool. And we may do one more capital campaign, because the last capital campaign we did, we got half the funding we were looking for, which was a good campaign. We got half the funding, which was great. But it wasn't enough to accomplish all of the goals we needed to accomplish. It was enough to get the steam generator, but not enough to get it installed. It was enough to get the tasting room installed prior to the freeze in February of 2021. After the freeze in February 2021, all the contractor prices doubled and in some cases tripled, because they suddenly had a whole lot of work. And the price of wood and other supplies was skyrocketing at the same time. So the cost of the tasting room went up precipitously. So instead of getting the tasting room, we engaged a marketing rep, a marketing firm that was supposed to help us launch the rye, but the launch was a complete, total disaster. And I've just told them that we're not continuing that engagement as of last month. But maybe by the end of the year we'll be in a place where we can re-engage them and relaunch, using them to relaunch our bourbon. I'm not sure. Got a lot of things we need to work out in the meantime. What you got up over here? Buddy's a chiropractor in another state, and says the worst part of running the office dealing with employees. I get it. There's the paperwork involved, personalities, just dealing with people. They have good days, they have bad days too. The last time I had a contractor working with me doing marketing work, I was doing this part-time, having a contractor doing marketing work, it was frustrating because every damn day I was like their therapist, and they were just constantly telling me, you know, this and this and this, I got to do this, I got to do this, it's so hard to get to I was like, just fucking do your job. I was a very unsympathetic ear, and that wasn't good of me. That wasn't my best performance as a human being. Because I had my own shit I was dealing with too. I could have been a better human, but I was tired of listening to that shit. It was always something too, always a really good excuse of some kind of home drama of why they needed to stop doing this, continue doing that, or go over here, go over there. It's so much work. Like, yeah, no, I'm working full time trying to keep the business open. The hell do you think I got going on here? But anyway, enough about that. I do look forward to having little ones running around the distillery. Reliable people that will be showing up and doing their work, doing their job. I don't expect I'll be a overbearing taskmaster, but I'm sure I'm going to screw it up until I learn how to do it right. Because I don't know if y'all know this or if y'all picked up on it. I'm not always a pleasant person. I try to be, I do my best. But, you know, sometimes I'm just sub-average, below average as a human being. I try, I do my best. But despite what y'all may have heard, I'm not perfect. Alright, now it's time for the label machines. So I know I have this many front labels, and I have this many back labels. I may run out of back labels before I finish, so I'm going to start with the back labels. Actually, I probably ought to start with the front labels. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with the front labels. That way I can make sure that the front labels are where I want them to be on the bottom. It's easier to do that when you start with the front and finish with the back than it is starting with the back and finishing with the front. Alright. And I'm going to load up both of these because I know I'm going to run out of the small roller. So I'm going to load up the small roll first. If I can get it loaded. There we go. Alright. And I will be able to bring this close to the camera and do a demo so you can see the labeling process in action. Especially now that I've got stuff moved off on the table. Over, under, through, back across, over, under, through, and roll it up. Get it. All right. What we got going on over here? Well, I mean, she had legitimate stuff going on. I mean, I don't want to dismiss I missed it by that much. Not even close. I mean, I don't want to dismiss the issues that was going on. She had like legit issues. I could have been a more sympathetic group. I think she just needed someone to talk to. But I just got tired of listening to it. And that's more of a confession than anything else. I was not, I was just not being a good human in general. And I was uncharitable in the way I dealt with it, to say the very, very least. So let's try and move the camera. I'm going to try and put the camera up here so y'all can get a better view of what's going on over here. Yeah, see if I can pull this off without losing the video feed like I did last time. Let's try this. And hopefully it'll work without screwing things up. Y'all can see a tour of the shop as I play with the cords here, or the legs on the tripod. Come on, get up here. All right. Let's bring it over here. See if this will work. Ta-da. There we go. Hi everybody. I'm Dr. Nick. Let's see here. And move this cable here. We still have a video. We still have a video feed. Good, good, good. All right, so I'm going to lower the camera down like so. The label maker right there, or label machine, rather, right there. Let's see, is that going to work? Yeah, y'all can kind of see what's going on. Okay. Get a little bit of a bird's eye view. While y'all are looking at that, I'm going to go ahead and tee up the other label machine. Well, first off, I've got to put a couple of labels on a couple of bottles, because the first couple of labels on the line do not come through the label machine, so they have to get put on by hand. There you go. You see that? Am I in the right spot? Where is it? There it is. Zoom in. There it is. Gorgeous, isn't it? Let's do one more real quick. It's a work of art. I tell you, a work of I got memes. I got memes all day long. Yeah, that shit going through my head like a goddamn freight train all the time. We are a society of memes. No meaning, just memes. There we go. Alright. So both machines are teed up and ready to go. Now it's time to get this party started. Let's see here. So it's going to be sideways coming in. But that's okay. I think y'all can... The shadow's not good. There we go. I don't think it's coming out straight. That's what she said. It's a little crooked. See if I can solve this problem. Not like that, I can't. Let's see here. Do it. That might do it. Alright, not a lot of talky for this because I'm kind of thinking, but we'll get there. Once I get this all set up and properly aligned, then I can work a little bit more automatically. Yeah, I think we're there. Best part of the process, getting loaded. I mean, you're not wrong. But we do encourage responsible drinking because you never know what you eat when you're drunk. The life you save may be mine. That was the James Dean. What was it? No drinking. Was that the not drinking and driving, or was that the wear a seatbelt? Drive responsibly. I can't remember what PSA that was supposed to be for. But he famously botched the line. James Dean was not a very good actor. He famously botched the line in a PSA where he was supposed to say, "The life you save could be mine, or could be your own. Life you save could be your own." And he botched the line. A simple line. He botched it. And said, "The life you save could be mine." He was a pretty face, I guess. Yeah, I mean, for the time, he was handsome. Oh, he's dreamy. So dreamy. But from what I heard, rumors that I heard, not necessarily from people in the know, but from the time period, he was not a particularly good actor. But what do I know, right? What do I know? Let's see here. I'm trying to get a nice money shot of the label coming through. Ah. I need to put it like right here. That's it, right there, just like that. Like this. I need to be like right here. Uh-oh. This one has a... It's got a little schmutz on it. Get that off there. Where'd you come from, schmutz? The bass and the trumpet make the people go to war. The mighty trumpet bring the people to the fore. Alright. Roll it down. Bring it to the camera. Nice. How about that? That look good? Does that make y'all want to buy whiskey? Let's do it one more time. Because I'm going to clip the shit out of this. Put it with some music. There it is. Money. Money shot. One more. Beauty. That's a keeper. Alright, this I think is the last one on the roll too. Try one more time, because like I said, I'm gonna clip the crap out of this. Yep, there it is. Last one on the roll. Peel that off. Done. Away. Alright, now you go over here. Now we just bring the other one over, since I already have it set up. There. This looks like it's a little bit off center. A lot bit off center to the right. Holy cow. But see, it's a little bit off center. You see it's this much over here, this much over here. So I'm going to remove that and try to replace it better on the bottle itself. There we go. Alright, so the way I adjust that is I'll do another one just to make sure it wasn't like the first one on problem. And yeah, it's definitely pushed too far. The bottle's too far this way. So what I'll do is I'll take this gate and move it just a hair over, like so. And that should solve my problem. The peace and travel make the people go to war. The mighty trumpet brings the freaks out to the floor. That's perfect right there. Perfect. So I'll take the gate guard, push it over a little bit. Now we won't get any wiggle wiggle. And now I can just roll it. My big old head is in the shadow. Perfectly shadowing where it's supposed to be. So let's go. It's going to be a little bit low. It's going to be a lot bit low. The first 3 or 4 on the machine are always a little bit of a challenge, because I'm still calibrating the machine, getting it to be in the right spot, getting used to where the labels have to come up. But once we get it set, we get it set. That it is. That's a keeper. I have a bunch of clips to choose from. Hold it right about there. Beautiful. See, can I clip it right now? Or do I have to wait? Oh, I can. I can do a 15-second clip. I can do a full minute clip. Dude, it's awesome. I just got to find the minute that I want to do. I don't think I need a full minute. This one. That's perfect right there. Boom. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There's 9.5 seconds. That's going in a short right there. Beauty. Look at there. Yeah. Gorgeous. All right, now I got to give it a description. Labels on the special reserve. Share the clip. Oh, it's gonna have all my nonsense audio on it too. I think we're gonna cancel that. All right, so we're gonna video that. All right, how am I gonna video this? Let's see here. Do I have my, If I do this, I'm gonna move it over here. I can like roll it out onto the table. That actually turned out really well as far as the label goes. It looked like crap on the video, but it looked good. As far as the label goes. I know what I could probably do. Let's see here. I know I've got a little tripod around here somewhere. Ah, screw it. You know what? It'll just have to wait. But in the meantime, we'll just keep it rolling. That one's a little high on the bottle there. See, if it goes a little bit too high on the bottle, the next label gets onto the base of the bottle, and that's not so good. But that's just perfect right there. Crossfitters are showing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just heard a horn honk. So is the process to be licensed by the ATF? So we don't get licensed by the ATF. We're licensed by the trade, the TTB. It's also a division of Treasury. But ATF, I think, is a division of Homeland Security now. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms too, but they're not who gives us our licenses. We go through the TTB, which is a division of Treasury, for revenue. And yes, the process is long and cumbersome, and it's my label's crooked. It's not really hard as far as the process goes. It's more just tedious, making sure you have all the forms filled out, I's dotted, T's crossed, background checks completed, all that nonsense that you have to get done. Because they do a proper background check when you're getting the license. They'll ask your neighbors if you are involved in any illegal activities and stuff like that. Oh, that's straight. They do a proper background check, not just checking for warrants and stuff like that, and just kind of doing a top level type of thing. This is as much a check for character as it is a check for illegal behavior. Because when we got our license first approved, and we were listed as principal operators of the business, we had to submit for proper background checks with federal marshals and FBI agents coming and asking questions to our neighbors about, do they know of anything strange going on? Are they money laundering, or whatever other nonsensical questions? Getting the location approved. I mean, it's really like a 3 to 6 month process, but if you have all your shit in order, it's like 3 months. A month to not even a month, like a week or so to make sure you have everything filled out properly. And then, a couple of months for it to go through the process. The TABC here in Texas is a little bit more cumbersome, because they're the ones that give the secondary approvals for, they give approvals on everything that the feds give approval to, but sometimes they feel like they need to do a job, and they review the stuff, and it's just kind of like everything has to get approved by the feds first, and then you have to do it all over again with the state. So that's that's the annoying part of the process, is having to do everything twice, because it's not additive. STD, what's up in the house? Cheers. And no, they don't come out, the feds don't come out and inspect the location. And in fact, the state doesn't even come out and inspect the location. The only inspections you have to go through are either city or county. The county came out and inspected the location for occupancy. And before we begin operating our tasting room, our fully operational tasting room, they'll probably come out and do another check of the tasting room, make sure that we have all the food handling procedures in place, licenses and stuff like that. City fire marshals, if you're inside of city limits, city fire marshals tend to take an active interest in your building that has highly flammable and explosive materials on hand. County fire marshals, depending on the county, less so. Counties are usually more lax than cities, because cities tend to be more densely populated, both metaphorically and demographically. See what I did there? I'm saying because there's dumber people. Only because there's more people living in cities. You know, you get a bunch of people together and they tend to get dumber. You also get smarter people, so there's both ways. You just have more dumb people and more smart people living in cities. Side by side, that's how it works. All right, last bottle. Make a nice glamour shot. Beautiful. All right. The Office of Redundancy Office. Yes, Twisted's in the house. Cheers. Cheers, my lady. All right. So those are done. Now it's time to get the back labels on here. And my back labels, I should have enough back labels to get through all, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 72, 75 or so bottles. So I shouldn't have to. I have more stashed in my supply jars or supply boxes over there, but I don't think I have to get to those right now. This was, by the way, a great suggestion by Ting Ting to do the camera angle like this so y'all could see what's happening with the labeler. Oh, I got a 915 call from El Paso. Old Humble, this is Joe. Hello. Hi. Telemarketers. There was music in the background of this one. It sounded like they recorded it in their living room. All right, so we go over the rail, under the rollers, over the rail, through the turnaround. And then we go over the turnaround, over the rail, through the roller. My hands are too big. That's what she said. To be able to do that comfortably. But we get it. We get it done. So Twisted, I'm finally going to begin work on my proper bar. You know, we're using these tables right now for bars, but I'm not going to use an acrylic for the bar top like I had planned to do. Not yet, at least. I am going to get a proper bar top, but I'm going to put it on pallets. I'm going to do a pallet build for the bar. I've got a couple of extra pallets sitting over here, and I'm going to break them down and use the pallets for are we ready? Let me move you a little bit further this way. Yeah, there we go. I don't know where Ting Ting is, but a proper shout out to her for this camera angle. This camera angle right here, this is all her. This was her suggestion. This is the Ting Ting camera angle. This was her suggestion. She got this done for y'all. There we go. Now the last step, after I get all the labels on, down the bottles, because some of them still have a little dust from the air as it collects and gathers on the bottle. So that'll be the last step before they go into the boxes. A little chip on this bottle here. That's going to stay here. I'm not going to send that out to the stores. I want to stay right over here. Goes to the bar. I've inspected all the bottles to make sure they weren't broken or chipped on the outside or they had any rough edges. There were a few of them that had to be discarded because of that. But that's the first one I saw that was just like scratched up. Interesting. Might be a little dust on the bottle. Don't let that fool you about what's inside. Alright, so this is a problem with this particular set of labels. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's like the top edge folded over. I was having this problem the last time I was labeling up the Special Reserve back labels. But it won't be a problem. I know how to solve the problem and mitigate its occurrence. Just need to make sure that the label is laying flat when the bottle comes to it. It is the Ting Ting Cam. That's exactly what it is. So what I'm going to do with the bar, I found a build idea for building the bar using a couple of pallets. It actually suggested 3 pallets, a little 3-sided bar, but we only need a 2-sided bar. You know, a little 90-degree build out of a 2-sided bar, because ultimately when it goes in, it's going to be up against the wall. So all we need is the 2 sides. Gotta move these guys up. All we need is the 2 sides, the front and the side, and it doesn't really even need to be a full second side. But as far as the bar top goes, it's just going to be a pine countertop, whatever, a wood countertop that I'm gonna stain and seal. I'm probably not gonna do the acrylic pour, just because I need to save some time and money. And on this one in particular, I can wait. But I'm also going to, at the same time that I build the bar, or right after I build the bar, I'm going to build my control station for the my production booth for the shows, the Friday night shows that we do here, so that everything can all be in one place. God damn it. You know, all the cables can be in one place, everything can be so it's basically going to look like we have 2 bars. But one bar will be specific for the YouTubing. I'll have a control booth. I'm so excited. It'll be the first time I'll had a control booth since like college, when we did our TV shows in college. So exciting. Oh my goodness. But I haven't ruled out the possibility of pouring an acrylic bar top on top of the wood. You know, having it be nice and marbly or glassy. Doing a metallic base coat and then covering it up with the clear acrylic, so that the bar top looks like it's stainless steel or brushed copper. I think that would be a nice touch. I don't know about the brushed copper, but the stainless steel bar top using an acrylic pour, I think that'd be a nice touch. And I think using a stainless bottom coat with the acrylic, a stainless paint color bottom coat with the acrylic pour on top would be easier to do than actually taking a chunk of metal and wrapping it over the top of that thing, because I am not a metal, I am barely a woodworker. I am certainly not a metal worker. But that said, we've got other acrylic projects that we could do here at the shop if you wanted to come down and do a live or a pre-recorded pour. Record a little twisted art here at the shop. I got plenty of other projects. I got tables to build. I've got tables to build, stage to build, backdrops to produce. If we're gonna do that, I don't know. Yeah, we should have plenty of labels to complete this task at hand. But yeah, I've got plenty of the sidebar that I want to do. I really like the idea of doing a sidebar that is the copper base coat. That runs the length of the distillery, or the length of the tasting room. I think that'd be cool. And I'm obsessed with having copper styled coverings around the distillery. Copper tabletops, copper bar top, copper, metallic and copper surfaces on the stuff around the shop. Because I like the industrial vibe, but I don't want to pay for the copper. Yeah, I wanted to do the floors in copper, but I think just doing the floors in like a steel, basic gray or something like that would be probably more appropriate. But having a nice shiny copper floor, I was obsessed with that for a while, doing a shiny copper acrylic pour for the floor. Hey, Bimbo Barbarella Music Program. Welcome to the party. And sometimes I get bubbles, but those get rubbed out. All you got to do is rub it out. That's what she said. As the joke just hangs in the air. Like a thick, it hangs in the air like a kiss in the humid Texas summer. Thick on her lips, vanishing into the sunset. See, I could write schmaltzy, nonsensical romance novels. I know words. Oh, Lord. Like just the other day, we were putting out flags for Boy Scouts. In our neighborhood, Boy Scouts, on the esplanades and entrances to the subdivisions, the Boy Scouts put out the American flags. So for Memorial Day, we were putting them out, and what people don't know about this is that there's a PVC pipe that's been buried in the ground, and that's the receiver for the flag. And because the Boy Scouts only put the flags out like 4 times a year. Sometimes the holes can be hard to find. So what you end up doing is you're down on your knees with both hands, poking with your fingers through the thick brush, poking at the bush, poking at the brushes, poking at the grass, poking at this thick vegetation, trying to get your hands through in order to find the hole. And there was a point where we were doing this, and me and one of the other dads, we just stopped and started laughing because we were both thinking the same thing. And our boys, mine's 11, his is 15. Neither one of them understood why we were laughing. The 15-year-old might have figured it out. But my 11-year-old was clueless, and it was pretty fucking hilarious. But, yeah, I make that into a romance novel. The clumsy man pawing around at the grass looking for the hole. Saying repeatedly to himself, I know it's around here somewhere. It was here last time I checked, but that's been months ago. I mean, come on, if that's not the epitome of high romance and comedy, I don't even know what is. And the truth is that both of those statements are 100% true. It is not, and I don't know what is. So I want to draw your attention to this knife. This knife I picked up at one of the Tool Harbor Freight type of stores that are here in town. It's a great knife. It's ridiculously sharp. Fantastic knife. But it was in one of those boxes that you need a knife to open up. And obviously I didn't have one because I had just purchased a knife. So as I'm leaving the store, I had to ask some nice old gentleman, can I borrow your knife? Because, you know, he was of a certain age and I knew he had one on him. Which is to say, possibly in his mid-40s. Because there comes a point in a man's life where you always have a pocket knife on you. Not because of, you know, self-defense or whatever, but just because somewhere along the line, on any given day, you may need to dig a splinter out or cut a tag or, you know, dig some dirt out from under your nails or some other nonsense. There just comes a point in a guy's life where he just always has a pocket knife on his person. My dad, you know, the Texas toothpick, if you will. My dad's weapon of choice was a small yellow penknife. Mine is the stainless steel. And it's a much sharper knife than my old knife that I used to have on my person all the time. This was my old one. The old-fashioned. And that knife, I mean, for the life of me, I cannot have that. I cannot keep a blade on that knife. It will not keep an edge. This is about as dull a knife as, I don't even think this would cut butter. One of the worst knives I've ever owned, the Old Timer. I mean, it didn't come with an edge to the blade, and I've never been able to put an edge on the blade. It's always been it looks good. I enjoy owning it, enjoy having the knife, but I've never been able to put an edge on that knife, on that blade. This one, on the other hand, it came with an edge, and I've never been able to knock the edge off of this knife, no matter what I do to it. And I think this was like a $9 knife, and the Old Timer was a standard Walmart, like $15, $20 knife. Comes complete with a sheath, which you'll wear on your belt. Nah. Beginning to piss me off. Three more to go after this one. Or no, 3 more to go, including this one. Then we do the wipe and box. All right. Bourbon run, what do you got? When you run through OBS or StreamYard, does that count as watch hours for my channel? I don't think so. I don't know for sure. I haven't tested that out. I don't know. I don't think it does, because you're not actually playing it back while it's running through OBS. I don't know. But I usually have it on my phone. This is how I watch chat. So, y'all get like infinity vision going on here. Let me move the camera back to where it was. How's that? That's neat. I'm going to do this for a few minutes because I think that's kind of a cool angle. So you can... let's see, what are y'all actually looking at? Where are you at? There it is. Okay. So I'll just do that. I like that. That's cool. I really do need to start putting them in boxes as I wipe them down. How's that? Is that not cinematographic or what? That's cinematography there for you, baby. Cinnamon graphy. This is how you picture cinnamon. Nonsense. The bourbon product will be ready to go by December, I believe. Depends on when our steam guys finish the job with the steam generator. Depends on when the steam guys finish the job with the steam generator. As soon as the steam generator gets done, it'll be a couple of weeks, and we'll have our first batches in barrels. I have everything I need to get the bourbon going, except for the steam generator. That's the one thing I'm missing right now. So, as soon as we get the steam generator plugged in and fully operational, then we get the bourbon running. And there you go, 6 months later, we're all set. Twisted, it's all right. Nothing I had to say was particularly important. All I was talking about was the countertops and stuff that I wanted to do. As far as I'm obsessed with metallic colored acrylic pours. The copper metallic and steel metallic acrylic pours to give that faux metallic countertop look. I'm just completely obsessed with it. I wanted to do copper colored floors so that our floors looked like copper metal copper acrylic floors, but that's such a good idea in the sober light of morning, so to speak. Yeah, so what I'm hoping to do, Ron, is have some kind of special release event, a Boomtown Bourbon Festival, if you will. A Boomtown Bourbon Fest where we release the Boomtown Bourbon and announce its return to the stage, so to speak. Because we've had batches of it come and we sell it out, and then we make some more, and then we sell it out, and we make some more, and then we sell it out. And every time we do it, it's a little bit different, it's a little bit better. This is going to be our 4th batch of Boomtown Bourbon. Our 1st batch in the new facility. Our 3rd batch with the big stills. And we're going to have 30 or so cases ready to be sold, and I kind of want to do an event. I was talking about it yesterday, that I kind of want to bring in some of the whiskey tubers, the Texas whiskey tubers, and do kind of a whiskey tubapalooza type of thing, where I use those guys, or I introduce those guys to the distillery, and let those guys introduce the whiskeys to their audiences simultaneously live. And maybe introduce their audiences to each other. I'm sure there's a way to do it where they all share the same video feed, and then they all share the same video feed onto their machines, or their own video feed onto their machines, but we all use the same internet tube going out to the masses. I'm sure there's a way to do it. So I was kind of thinking maybe see if we could pull something like that off, but that'd probably be January, not December. It'd be a second event, a follow-up event to the original launch. So what I'm doing now is I'm just wiping off the tops of the bottles. This is an example of what I'm wiping off that's just a little dusty. So just making sure it's clean, making sure there's no impurities atop the bottle. These sit here in the distillery. We get a little dust in the air, we get a little dust on the bottle. Just got to wipe them off a little bit, clean them up. Now, doing a thing in December where everyone was at home at their own shop, that might not be that hard to do, but Actually having them here on location remote, that'd be kind of tough. And I might even be able to swing discounted hotel rooms for those that aren't local. Get them to come here and get a little discounted hotel room. So instead of spending whatever, 85 bucks for a hotel room, they only spend 50 or 60. And that's possible. All things are possible if you are committed to the bit. All things are possible when you're committed to the bit. No, it needs to be like right here. Yeah, that's it. There you go. I know you hungry. Beep-boo. That's it. My brain is full of memes. That's all it is. It's just memes and hungry. That's it. Those two things in my brain. Memes and hungriness. And whiskey. Memes, hungry, and whiskey. Three things. That's all that's in my brain. There you go. Beep-boo. Siren Silver Stash, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. We are bottling up. We're in the final stages of bottling up our Special Reserve whiskey. Now, our Special Reserve is made of 90% corn, 10% malted barley, and aged 5 years in used bourbon barrels. And then we finish it by either putting it in new barrels or putting it over fresh, newly charred oak barrel staves in the barrels that they were already in. And so what that does, the second aging, the second barreling, gives it a much darker color than what it starts with. And if I can find a bottle of our straight whiskey, I can demonstrate. Here we go. This is the color of the straight whiskey before it goes into the barrel for the second aging. And that is the color of our Special Reserve. You can see the Special Reserve is much darker than the straight whiskey by about a shade. It is the difference between the beginning summer tan and the end of summer tan. The May tan versus the July tan. Neither of which I tend to get anymore. I wear sunscreen on account of me being a responsible grown-up human being. And I've set up this camera angle specifically to torture Bourbon Ron. I don't think I'm going to need that last box, as a matter of fact, because, yeah, the leftovers are just going to go into the bar. Let's see, this would go right here. These would go over here so you can see all four. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. And another one bites the dust. You're a walking meme too. I wonder if Bourbon thinks of me all day too. One with the guy in bed with his girl, and she's thinking, he's thinking of other girls. Where can I get a unicorn bottle? Alright, so these guys go over here to my bar. And now I will raise this up in the air a little bit higher. So y'all can see what's going on. So the last step is the actual palletizing of the bottles. Or the palletizing of the boxes, rather. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So I've got to tape these closed, which means I've got to find my tape, which is always an adventure. Because I don't know what I did with it. 100% of the time, the tape roller gets left where it was last used. So I don't know where it's at, ever. Because you always use it in a different spot. Damn, I'm getting hot. I may need to go ahead and open this door up. At least one of the doors. And this is part of the joy of working alone. I don't have anybody else to blame when I lose stuff. It is 100% my fault. I don't know what I did with this shit. There it is, I found it. Turns out it was on this table, and I took it off this table when I replaced the table with when I converted it over from holding stuff to work on. All right, so the pallet where I'm putting the boxes is over here. I need to tape them. I need to put my barrel box label on them. This is my box labels. This is what goes on the end of the box, so that when it's on the shelves, you can see what it is that that they have on the shelf. That way the boxes don't get lost in the stores. There we go. Because that has happened on more than one occasion when I've gone into the store. The inventory says they have 3 boxes, but they can't find them because they've been stashed and they didn't have a label on the side. And it generally leads to me being very pissed off because it's not an inventory error necessarily, but I can't sell the whiskey because they don't know where the whiskey is. And if I can't sell the whiskey, they can't order more whiskey. And if they can't order more whiskey, then it's there in the store with one case on the damn shelf, even though they don't know where that case is. Very annoying. All right. Where's my chat box? Hey, chatters. All right. Basically what this box label does is it just tells them the important information. How many bottles per case, proof gallons per box. What else does it say? A little bit of marketing information about what's in the box. You know, so that the staff at Specs or Total Wine or whatever, they know a little bit something about the whiskey immediately. I don't have to be there to educate them 100% of the time. I am fairly certain that they never read it and they never have any idea what it is that they're actually selling, unless and until I go into the stores and tell them myself. But that's just how it is. Reminder, our 600 subscriber special, I am shooting for July 4th to do a 600 subscriber special and July 4th extravaganza. I may go ahead and do the July 4th extravaganza if we are shy of 600 subscribers. But we're only like 28 or something like that away from 600. And I'm going to go ahead and buy the fireworks as soon as the fireworks stands open. I told my supplier, my fireworks supplier, exactly what it is that I want. And she is actively seeking out the explosives that will serve my needs. So that's going to be cool. So the plan as it stands right now is that I will take canisters, 20 30-shot canisters, and you know what I'm talking about with the 30-shot canisters, like those little cake things that have all the rockets in them. You'll light on fire and they just shoot everything up into the air. 30 of those. 20 of those that shoot 30 shots up into the air. Or one that shoots 600 shots up into the air, either way. Then I'm gonna light that bitch up and send a bunch of rockets up into the air for our 600 subscriber special. And then when we get 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna fight a kangaroo. I'm gonna knock one of those damn fedoras off of his head. Knock the cigarette right out of his mouth. He'll be all like, "Oi, mate," sitting there in his vest, just a stupid fedora, gold chains, leaning back on his tail. I'm just gonna come up to him, smack him in the damn face. Bitch! Then we'll get in a boxing match. We'll fight a kangaroo. 1,000 subscribers. You heard it here first. All right. Task is complete. The next thing I need to do is clean this out. The gin that I'm going to be bottling up tomorrow has already been filtered. It's already set and ready to go. I just need to clean this out, rinse it out of the whiskey, which won't be a problem. I can actually do that tomorrow, but I'll probably do it tonight. What time is it? How long have we been streaming? It's 3:53, so we've been going for what, 3 hours? 2.5 hours. Not bad. What questions y'all got? I mean, I'm here, we're open. I can answer any questions you got. I'll do my best to answer as candidly and honestly, and I'll grab me a Coke though. It's getting fucking hot. getting stuffy in here is what it is. I'll open up a door and get a little circulation. It actually isn't a lot cooler outside, but I can at least get some air circulating through here. This is going to ruin the white balance and brightness on the camera, so I won't open the door all the way. So this area is really insulated. The distillery is very insulated, but given enough time, I mean, it can only stand 100-degree heat outside for so long. And I think right now, what is the temperature right now? It was approaching 90, 95 when I got here. Current weather in Humble says the temperature is 90, let's say 92. Oh, 91. It's 91 degrees right now. Partly cloudy. We could use a rainstorm, but not Friday. No rain on Friday, please. Thank you. So, $600 subscriber special, July 4th. We'll record it live, and then I'll cut it down and post it up as a video. I may record it live on Twitch, then download the video and edit it and post it back up on YouTube. So our 4th of July spectacular may actually be July 6th. Or maybe I'll do the live video on YouTube, record it on my OBS, and then take the OBS recording and post it back up on YouTube as a video, but take down the live video from YouTube. Maybe I'll do it that way. I'm not sure, but we're gonna do it. Dallas area is 82 right now. You're just teasing me. I forgot to get my coat. Now you're just teasing, Twisted. It's not nice. That's not nice at all. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, if you want to assist in the production quality, help improve the production quality that we have here, you can contribute to our lapel microphone fund. The lapel mic that I am looking at is about $40. We have $5 in the fund. Thank you, Joe Varell, for being the first contributor to the lapel microphone fund. If you scroll up into chat, you'll see the, maybe I'll pin that. I'll pin the link to the microphone that I'm looking at on the Amazons. Maybe I can, if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Oops, pin the message. There it is, I just pinned it. So if y'all are curious what it is that I'm looking at as far as the equipment goes, you can look there. What else do I need to tell y'all? Tonight is trivia night. Tomorrow night is live music. Sedona Night is playing here at the distillery. So tomorrow night, music starts at 7 Central. Music starts at 7 Central tomorrow night. And then next week we'll post up our episode 11 update of our quest for 100,000 views. We are at 60% of our goal right now to get 100,000 views by the end of the year. I did not think we would be there at this point of the year. We started at 40,000. We are now at 61, if I'm not mistaken. No, we're higher than 61. What are we at? We started at 41. Let me look at my stats real quick. Gonna have to have all this shit updated for tomorrow when I do the recording anyway. Views, lifetime. We were at 41. We're at 64 right now. So we started at like 40,000 in February. We're up to 64. We had a huge month in May. 16,000? 16,291. So that tells you how well. It tells you how well May has been going. Previously, our best was 800 and something views. So we blew every metric out of the water in May, including hours viewed, for that matter. So our next goals, Crosby's at 90. Whew. That's right. Get it? Because it's a right. Anyway, we're going to set the goals for the next month, or I have set the goals for the next month that we announced. The goal for May was just get more views and add like 5 subscribers. The goal for May is going to be 350 hours of time plus more subscribers. Because I think we've got the formula down for views. You know, at least a couple thousand views. I leaned heavily on shorts in the month of May to help grow the views and grow the hours and grow the time. It's an interesting little formulaic setup where you'll get people watching your short. If you can get like 2,000 people to hit on your short, they only watch like 10 seconds because it's a short, 10 or 15 seconds, whatever. But 2,000 people watching for 15 seconds versus a couple hundred people watching for 20 minutes on a live, or 50 people watching for 20 minutes on the live. You just get a whole lot more time out of the shorts. You get a lot more views. You get a larger introduction to a new user, a new viewer audience. And that was I've been trying to find correlations and metrics since the beginning of February when I started this project, and this is like a complete no-brainer. But unique views, there's a correlation between unique views and subscribers. The more unique views you get, the more views you get, the more unique views you get, and the more unique views you get, the more subscribers that come along with it. And the reason I say it's a duh metric is because you wouldn't expect to get new subscribers out of returning viewers. Returning viewers presumably would already be subscribers. Your most fertile ground for new subscribers is unique views, and your most fertile ground to get unique views is that click-through rate, more impressions, and one of the best ways to get more impressions is to just start nailing shorts and getting some good shorts that are out there. But it's not. Then of course the question becomes, what's the definition of better? What's the definition of more effective? What's the definition of... Yeah, that's a good question. There's not a really good explanation of what's better. There's not a good metric for good click-through rates. There's not a good definition of good thumbnails or good titles or good. There's better but not good. And better can be defined as something that gets improved performance over the previous iteration you did. And just trying to be interesting and trying to be compelling and trying to be effective. Twisted, I've seen the stuff that you're doing over on TikTok, and that seems to be that's one of the strategies that I do. I'll do a TikTok, and if I do the TikTok video, and deem it to be short worthy, then I'll transfer it over from TikTok into shorts. If you do something with music, it's harder to do because you can get a copyright violation on YouTube and not a copyright. It can be okay on TikTok, but not on YouTube, because apparently some music is licensed for use on YouTube, but not use on TikTok, and vice versa. It's licensed on TikTok, but not on YouTube. So I'll record the raw video, add music to it on TikTok, and then do the same thing on YouTube, but it'll be a slightly different version of the same song, or something like that. But yeah, you know, I mean, basically I'm picturing when I'm doing my YouTube shorts, it's either something funny or dumb or something that I would envision as a 15 or 30-second commercial for my company. Something that I could convert to a 15 or 30-second video that I would put money behind to put before other people's videos on YouTube. If I were when I get ready to make the transition and start doing advertisements, targeted markets, that's kind of what I'm envisioning the shorts as being. But getting that organic interaction and people, you know, liking the content, connecting to the whiskey tube audiences and whatnot, it seems to be working. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination an expert who knows what he's doing, but I am a blind squirrel who is managing to find nuts. That doesn't sound right, but y'all know what I mean. So anyway, it's 4 o'clock. It's time for me to wrap this up. I need to go home, clean up, get ready for trivia tonight. 9 o'clock. We start our trivia. Trivia will probably be around 9:30. We do our opening banter with me and my co-host Lisa. If she has Unhinged Chronicles for the week, we do the Unhinged Chronicles, and then sometime between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, we start trivia. Trivia is based on pub trivia. We roll through pub trivia. It is 6 rounds of questions, 9 questions in each round. You type in your answers to your chat window. I ask the question, you type in the answer. And when I'm done with the questions, you hit send. I repeat the question twice. We give you about a minute to finish up your answers and hit send. The idea is you don't have a lot of time to search up the answers to your questions, and that's on purpose. The idea is for it to be just like it is here at the distillery when we do pub trivia nights. Where we ask the questions, we go through the questions, you have to get your answers in, you turn in your answers, we grade the answers and move on. That's it. We're not going to sit there and wait for you to Google the answers and post them up. Okay, so Ron, I was skeptical of shorts as well. That, like, they don't. Shorts consumers, folks who consume shorts, people who eat your shorts, it's a different market. They're not on YouTube the same way people who watch the long-form videos are on YouTube. And, you know, think about your own personal YouTubing habits. You know, you'll sit here and you'll scroll through the videos, you'll watch a video, you'll scroll through, you'll watch a video, that sort of thing, right? When you get onto the shorts feed, you watch the short, you move on, you watch the short, you like the short, you move on, that sort of thing. It's 2 different channels of consumption. But if you get enough people, there's a lower conversion rate on the shorts side of YouTube than on the long form video side of YouTube. So if you have 6 or 8 or 10-minute videos on the long form side of YouTube, you generally have a lower number of impressions than shorts, a higher click-through rate than shorts, and a higher subscription rate than shorts. But if the click-through rate is 3% and the subscription rate is 1% of that, you've got to get a lot of impressions on your videos in order to get that effective click-through rate, or 4% or 6%, whatever the number is. So you've got to get like 10,000 impressions in order to get 300. If your click-through rate is 3%, you have 10,000 impressions in order to get 300 views. And then of those 300 views, if you have a 1% conversion rate of views to subscribers, you get 3 subscribers out of that. But the key is impressions. You got to have it's this funnel, just like every sales funnel. It starts off here, and then your hit rate, conversion rate, your success rate. It all starts with the impressions. The shorts is going to have a smaller click-through rate. So if your normal click-through rate is like 4 or 5 or 6 or 2 or whatever your normal click-through rate is, mine's like 3.5. If your normal click-through rate is like 3.5, your shorts click-through rate is going to be something like 1.5 or 2. It's not going to be as high. But your shorts are going to have a much larger impression count. So if my normal impressions for my live streams are something along the lines of like 500 or so. It's not huge, but we're talking 3-hour shows. So there's that. But like the impressions on a short is going to be like 5,000 or something like that, like 10 times the rate. So if your click-through rate is half, but your impressions are tenfold, your number of times you get viewed is going to be increased by 5, or half of 10. Your increase is tenfold, but cut in half, your number of views is going to be increased by 5. So if your normal views, impressions, click-through rate, your normal views is like 150 on a video or something, you're going to get 250 on your shorts. It's going to be a 5-fold increase. And I'm making these numbers up. I don't have the data in front of me to confirm it. But you have a 5-fold increase, and your conversion rate to subscribers might be a little bit lower, might be half of the conversion rate to subscribers for your normal videos. But if you have a 5-fold increase, then you're getting 2.5 subscribers for every 1 subscriber you have on the other one. It's basic sales math. And if you can nail it with a short, I mean, it's like growth hormones. If you use it effectively, it works. If you don't use it effectively, it's just like crack cocaine in the system, and it inflates numbers, but it doesn't do anything. So the whole idea of the shorts would be to do content that steers people towards your mainline content on your channel. So if you're doing whiskey reviews on your channel, you do a short that's a short whiskey review. If we're doing, a condensed whiskey review or something like that. If we're doing happy hour nonsense on my channel, then my shorts are basically condensed, boiled down happy hour nonsense, which is what I excel at. Nonsense. It's what I do. But also trying to relay the vibe of my business, of my distillery, the vision of my distillery, the vision of my business, the vision of what we're trying to do. So it's very much an undistilled glimpse into who we are, what we believe, and what we do. And I've played around with different things on YouTube. I see what works well on YouTube. It's not the same as what works well on other platforms. Because it's not the same as other platforms. It's a different market, it's a different audience. But I have become, over the course of May, a true believer in the effectiveness of shorts. I was a full-on skeptic, but I've kind of become a true believer in how well they can be used to extend the voice and extend the reach of the programming that you're already doing on your channel. If that makes any sense at all. I will try to be a little bit more short-winded, utilize a little more brevity in the video that I post next week, but this is what it is. And I'm actively thinking about the data and what data I'll be putting into the show. And I'll be showing the analytics, and I'll be showing all the stuff all the way through. Because I really do think it's fascinating. It's an interesting glimpse. I find it fascinating to be able to see the strategies and how they're working in real time, and then being able to disseminate that out. Because there's a whole lot of videos out there, their advice and blah, 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 but they're not really showing the nuts and bolts results. I'm happy to show the actual nuts and bolts results of what's going on behind the scenes of as I try to build this channel and try to build the community so that the artists and performers that come here and do what they do can have a platform and a market and an audience that they can play to, not just physically, but in the broader sense, that they can see more, so more people can see them perform. Oh yeah, exactly. You twisted. You're right. You got to treat each because each platform has a different audience. People use it in different ways. They obviously use Twitter differently than they use YouTube. They use YouTube differently than they use Reels. On Instagram, they use Instagram differently than they use TikTok. Even though TikTok is much more. TikTok almost feels more like the video version of Twitter, where Instagram and Reels is a very sanitized version of YouTube. Instagram feels like very polished, almost like professional model shots, for lack of a better term, where YouTube feels more like well done home videos, if that makes any sense. Where you can record good professional home videos for YouTube, with the cuts and transitions and all the stuff that you can do on a YouTube short. YouTube feels like a semi-professional, almost public access type of college student video network type of medium, where Instagram feels like it's semi-professional photography, and in some cases semi-professional moving photography. I don't know. I hardly do Reels at all anymore on Instagram. It's mostly Instagram is just still pictures now, which I know is they're trying to move away from that, but they can try. I bet you have. Your art. Instagram works good for art. It works good for art, and a lot of other distillers I see on the IG medium are using still pictures of their bottles and cool backgrounds and stuff like that that they do for their imagery, and I don't see them on other platforms. It almost feels like they're just posting up professional photos and putting in sponsored posts. I hardly ever see, like with other distillers in town, I hardly ever see their organic posts. I usually only see their sponsored posts. And I haven't put any money into sponsored posts on Instagram at all. I've done it through Facebook, but mostly through events. I'll do sponsored events. I'll pay for the posting, for the dissemination of the events on Facebook, and that's pretty much all I use Facebook for now. But I am getting close to the point where I'm willing to take some of my 15-minute shorts on YouTube and post them up as the 5 to 15-second videos that go before other people's videos. I thought it would be funny to find other distillers' channels like Jack Daniels or something like that, and target ads to their video specifically, to their channel specifically, or the cocktail channels, the people that do the boozy cocktails, whatever, and just do a 5 or 10-second video of basically me sitting at a table or whatever with a bottle of my whiskey in a glass, and I turn to the camera and go, you know, the cocktails you're about to look at will be much better with this whiskey than whatever whiskey they have. Some food for thought. Pour myself a drink and drink it and fade to black, and then it goes to the the video on whatever channel it is they're watching. But to focus the advertising on specific channels, like Jack Daniels or whatever, I think that'd be funny. Which is also one of the reasons why I'm not like highly motivated to get monetized, because I know if I get monetized, that same thing could happen to me. Like before all of my videos, there could be a William Price or Falcone's commercial, basically saying the same thing about my whiskey. It'd be a fun little flex, and exactly the type of thing that I'd be willing to do. Okay, kids, it is 4:20. Seems as good a time as any to wrap it up. We are right about the 3-hour mark, 2 hours, 40 minutes. Tonight, trivia, 9 p.m. Questions will probably start around 9:45, so be there, be ready. Get your answering fingers ready to type into your keyboard. Tomorrow night, Sedona night, here live at the distillery, between the barrels. Let's go over here, switch to cam. There we are. I got my little halo above my head. And then next week we've got our quest for 100K. I think the topic for our Wednesday night is going to be the secret history behind the discovery of the universe. Because that's a really fascinating story. Because it's hard to believe that we lived in a time that the universe was unknown. But we did. Like literally within my dad's lifetime, within my mom's lifetime, within my parents' lifetime, we went from a universe that was the size of our solar system to a universe that is infinite and unknowably large. That's fucking fascinating. Shortage of American oak is going to be a problem for barrels. I have not heard of that there's a shortage of American oak. I haven't heard of that yet, Ron. And I haven't had any problems getting barrels so far. But I will keep an ear out for that. I don't know if that's going to be a problem because I have not heard that as an issue yet. This is literally the first I've heard. That comment is the first I've heard of a shortage of American oak. I was not aware that we had a problem. Is there a shortage in American oak? Shortage of American oak. It's a law. While there's no shortage of white oak trees across the country, one source said there's an estimated 5.2 billion in the U.S. There's a shortage of loggers to cut the trees. Oh, okay. That was back in 2019. As well as mills to turn the wood into raw necessary for barrel making or cooperage. Impending American white oak shortage threatens bourbon barrel. That's January 11, 2022. Let's see what that says.
This is Vine Pear, is where I'm getting the info from here. So, American white oak, the resource commonly used for making whiskey and bourbon casks, may run short if action isn't taken soon, per research. If there's no intervention in the immediate future, the species' population will significantly diminish in size, according to a study published by the White Oak Initiative, a coalition dedicated to the preservation of American white oak forests. The major causes for this include maladapted land management practices and shifts in the forest environment, not allowing for species seedlings and saplings to take root and reach maturation. How about that? I had no earthly idea. This is news to me, like for real. Currently, the trees grow on more than 100 million acres spanning the eastern and central U.S. from the Ozarks to the Appalachian Mountains. From the surveyor's report published in 2021, 75% of all the white oak acres are classified as mature, which hinders the growth of new trees. Accordingly, 60% of those acres had no seedlings, while 87% had no saplings, allowing for other species to take root in these areas once the oaks have died or been harvested. Outside of the devastating environmental implications, the news isn't great for the $8.6 billion bourbon industry that has defined itself by using this wood in its casks. In response, several whiskey and bourbon distilleries, including Beam, Suntory, Brown-Forman, and Sazerac, have joined the White Oak Initiative and pledged to have 50% of their logs be from sustainably managed forests by 2035. For Kentucky bourbon, which is bourbon, while any species of oak can be used for the mandatory charred new oak containers distinction, most producers prefer American white oak, which imparts a buttery vanilla and caramel flavor that are so popular in the spirit. In 2019 alone, Kentuckians used 1.7 million charred new oak barrels. So if demand is any indicator, there needs to be a dramatic push for securing the next generation of trees before there aren't enough left for aging your favorite whiskey. Okay, so my first reaction reading that is that we don't have anything to worry about. And the reason I say that is because of one specific line from that story, the $8.9 billion industry. There's, see you Twisted, see you hopefully tonight or tomorrow or next week sometime. There is no way in God's green earth that an $8.9 billion industry is going to put their industry at risk because some trees are not growing where they're supposed to grow. They will make sure that the mature forested land, the mature acres, are replaced with new saplings and new seedlings. And if it's not naturally done, they'll do it themselves. They'll seed that ground. I mean, if it would be peak business irresponsibility to let that lapse. You know what I mean? I mean that's like driving to work one morning, noticing that you're low on fuel, and then worrying all day at the office about how you're going to get to work tomorrow because you're low on fuel. Like if something doesn't happen, like I'm not going to have any gas tomorrow. Like something's got to happen. Otherwise, I'm not going to have any gas and I'm not going to be able to get to the office. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Well, I mean, you're going to get gas. That's what you're going to do. You're going to refill your fucking tank. And that's what's going to happen. So, you know, this is a vital resource for the industry. The industry is going to make sure that the vital resource is protected. Otherwise, it's not just going to be them. You know, it's not going to be Beam and Suntory or Beam, Suntory, and Sazerac and Brown-Forman that goes away. It's going to be everybody that goes away. I mean, I use white oak barrels too, but I mean, I don't have the industry power to make sure that there's a white oak forest protected. But they have the industry power to make sure a white oak forest. Now, they possibly have the industry power to make sure that they get it first and I don't get any. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. But now it's 4:28, and I really do need to get home because I need to clean up before I need to clean up because I stink. Um, I need to clean up because I stink. But yeah, maybe we'll do a show on that. Like maybe I'll do a show on like I don't know. It's fun to talk about basic economics. You know, yeah, oh yeah, they're buying up full size. And see, I use small barrels, so I don't have to worry about it. And a lot of those guys have their own cooperages, so they're buying up the wood and they're making the barrels, and they tend to have, they're not buying the barrels from outside sources. They're selling the barrels to outside sources that are used. And they have their own cooperages. I mean, there's a whole industry, that would collapse if the trees didn't grow. We're talking 5 million acres. Yeah, it's not an issue. It's not that big of it's a concern, but it's a concern that can be easily addressed, and there's plenty of time to address it. So it's nothing. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about, but it is something that you see on the horizon, and you have to adjust your behavior now in order to address that. And it's the same way with other stuff like climate change or sustainable farming or housing or any kind of Social Security, Medicare, any kind of thing that on the horizon you see storm clouds, or you start preparing to have an umbrella handy. That's basically what you do. You prepare for it, and that's I trust that my industry is preparing for it. It's way above my pay scale for me to be able to do anything about it. But if that's the case and I can't use new barrels anymore, then I'll use used barrels, and we just won't make bourbon. We'll make used barrels. We'll make our straight whiskeys and special reserves and ryes, and I'll move away from bourbon, but nobody will be making bourbon, so it won't be that big of a deal. There you go. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to. What's this? Okay, we got that. Tomorrow, June 3rd. Not tomorrow, June 3rd. Yeah, tomorrow, June 3rd. Tomorrow is June 3rd. Tomorrow, June 3rd, we have Sedona night here at the distillery. Tonight, we have trivia. Stay tuned and be awesome to each other. Think with your whole brain and love with your whole heart. Bye.